Radio play-by-play guy for the Browns, Andrew Siciliano. His thoughts on how Tommy Rees' play calling could impact the offense.
Isn't that the big question of the week?
Yes.
I wish I knew an answer. I mean, I could give you some babble about getting the ball out quick and, trying to play to Dylan's strengths and moving the pocket and all that. And all of that is true, but it's the same playbook. It's not as if you're going to add 25 new pages to the playbook. It's about, call sequencing and setting stuff up and actually, paying it off a little bit later. But that's not to suggest that Kevin doesn't do that. He does. I think Wyatt Teller has summed it up pretty well. I think he did it last week before everyone broke and took a much-needed couple of days off, is that it's one block here and one block there. And, it's great. You call a bubble, but somebody misses a block and it doesn't go anywhere. You have a run blocked up all but one guy, so it doesn't go anywhere. You look at Quinshon's numbers. 95.6% of Quinshon's rush yards have been after contact.
Wow.
Is that good? But you know what that tells me? The missed blocks, you miss a block. The problem is they don't have a playmaker. The ball in anybody's hand, even Quinshon Judkins, he's not somebody, he's a good running back. That's not what I'm saying. But the ball in his hands is a defensive guy saying, man, we're in trouble. No, they're saying we're going to get run over for 6-7 yards. They have nobody who threatens the defense with speed.
Totally agree, Dave. I mean, that's the thing. And look, Quinshon's a really good back, but even really good backs, we used to see this with Saquon Barkley and the Giants. If you don't have the offensive line to open up some holes for you, then you're not going to be able to consistently produce, right? It's great to create those yards after contact. And I think Judkins is your long-term starting running back here, considering what he's done so far this season. But you're right. There's just not enough speed on this offense. And I think what Tommy Rees is going to try to do is maybe even get a little more creative in the run game. When he was calling offense down at Notre Dame and at Alabama, his run and pass rates were about 50-50. It was a balanced attack, and the Browns need to get more to that. They're only at about 34% run rate right now this season, obviously behind in a lot of games. But the other thing, too, is getting the ball in the hands of your best players more often. The one thing I ask in most games that I've been watching with the Browns offense, where is Jerry Jeudy? I mean, I know they're not the fastest bunch out there at wide receiver, but it feels like he's just gotten nowhere near the volume as he has last year, and he was a big-time playmaker for him last year. That would be the guy that I would think would get an increase in targets in the passing game.
Yeah, I would agree. His production with anybody not named Jameis Winston hasn't been great. I'm strictly looking at, he was a Pro Bowler with Jameis Winston and hasn't been with anybody not named Jameis Winston.